From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where you can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, listen to the show live. The Gavinator has new features coming soon. Tonight's show is brought to you by Mighty Moose Beard Oil Company. It's 100% Canadian, 100% natural, taking care of beards around the world. Visit MightyMooseBeard.com. Don't forget to use promo code SOR2019 today. It's the final Friday of the month. It's officially here, but before we get started, I got a little bit of an announcement to make. Because 50 years ago today, my mom and dad were married. It's their 50th anniversary. Now, they decided they didn't want a big family get-together or anything. That's why we're doing the show tonight. Dad plans on taking Mom away soon, probably to either Vegas or Hawaii. But I just wanted to say, happy anniversary, Mom and Dad, 50 years. There's not a lot of people in this world right now who can say that they've hit 50 years. So congratulations to my mother and father tonight. So here we are, looking over the month that was in the weird, strange, and supernatural. Now, the guests don't know the topics, but they will have to think fast to bring their answers for you. Joining us tonight in studio, Mr. Bill Hauser. He's from our live Ghost Box sessions. He's hanging out with me. We're going to do the ghost tour tomorrow night at the 108 Mile Ranch Museum, where I do a ghost tour here in British Columbia to raise money for the museum. Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio is here, and UFO researcher and bad-looking goatee wearer, William Pullin. Gentlemen, welcome to the SOR Paranormal Round Table. How are you?
Thanks for having us, Dave, again.
Thank you.
So, we don't often get guests in the studio, Bill.
Yes, I realize that.
You know, I got to admit, it's a little weird. We don't get this often.
I'm used to talking to you over the internet.
I know, because Bill's usually here. He's on a cell phone or on his home on Skype. But, thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for having me, Dave. It's been great. I love it up here. It's beautiful.
Right on, right on. Yeah, we're also on Sunday. We're going to keep this quiet from the locals. You guys aren't locals listening, so on Sunday, we are going to actually go investigate Flight 21. That's where in 1965, a DC-6 blew up in the sky and literally killed all 56 people on board. It's still Canada's largest unsolved mass murder. And, I don't think they'll ever solve it. I really don't, but we're going to go in there. And that's the story, too, guys, who are listening, who will recognize me talking about that, where Mike Morin from Haunted Crew in Canada, him, myself, and Bazooka Joe, we believe that the last time we were there investigating, that we were actually surrounded by Sasquatch. So we're going to see if we can attract some Sasquatch tomorrow night. We're going to kick off the SOR Paranormal Round Table talking a little bit of UFOs, because news came down yesterday from the To the Stars Academy about all of these metamaterials. Now, Chris Cogswell, the mad scientist who has a doctorate in chemical engineering, should call him Dr. Chris Cogswell, basically says, yeah, these were tested like in the 80s. And they were tested to be of human origin. However, we're being told that these metamaterials that are in the hands of Tom DeLonge's crew are of alien descent. William, what's your thoughts on this?
Our friend Mr. Cogswell is a highly trained scientist. So I would tend to agree with his assertion, his thoughts on this. They've claimed these metamaterials they're going to be examined. They haven't named the laboratories and what have you that are going to examine the materials per se. but they're claiming that they're going to have these laboratories under contract and get these things looked at. So they're claiming they're of extraterrestrial origin. They're making a claim before it's been confirmed. They're assuming these are non-terrestrial in origin. After thorough examination, they may turn out to be that, but prior to examination, it's kind of uninformed. It's putting the cart in front of the horse. You can't assume it's extraterrestrial in origin. So, if these things have been tested before and they've turned out to be terrestrial in origin, then I don't know what we're doing here. I mean, I read their blog posting and they didn't name. My big issue was I'm into details, data. And so I immediately want to know what facilities are going to examine these materials. What scientific facilities are going to examine these materials in a scientific manner to determine their origin? That wasn't in the blog posting. Nothing. It was about laboratories under contract, and that's it, which is a very vague term. They're making a posting to get out information, but they're not really giving out specific details. And for me, that's kind of a red flag. I mean, in past decades, there's been UFO researchers that have claimed to have gotten specifically implants in abduction research. They've claimed that they've had these implants examined by scientific facilities, but they never named them, which is troubling to me. I mean, I'd like to examine the final reports. I'd like to examine the whole procedure they went through to determine the origin of these implants. And the same thing happens here. I'd like to know what facilities are doing what to these supposed metamaterials and then see what comes of it. But I'm kind of cautious about it. So it may be just a continuation of the narrative again. So we'll see what transpires, Dave.
Rich, what's your thoughts on these metamaterials?
I talked about this earlier. Well, this is old news. All right. This just like the Tic Tac video was out years before it came out. I mean, we're getting the same old story. We've heard this before. This was on Unsolved Mysteries, if I remember correctly. They already figured it out, that it's a high volume, I think, of one thing. And I don't know how it works, but Chris Cogswell, the doctor, said it would only take a month to get the results. So what's taken so long? That I don't understand. They've had these materials for a long time. And it's old news. They're not going to find anything. That's what's so fishy about it. Because you know who's behind it all. In my opinion, it's got to be Bigelow. Of course, it's going over to Bigelow Laboratories. I probably stole your thunder. I know you were thinking it too.
No, that's exactly my call too. I mean, let's face it. There is not a lot of secrecy behind what the TTSA does. They keep their group very, very tight. They don't allow a lot of people into their inner circle. So for somebody who thinks that, I would be extremely surprised if we saw this go off to MIT, if we saw it go off to UCLA or Yale or Harvard or any place like that. It's going to Bigelow Aerospace. We know that. I mean, why not just come out and say it?
Or they'll just say NASA or something, yeah.
It could go to NASA. That's fine. But there's only one man who, for the last 35 years, put this team together, even though Tommy believes he put it together.
Yeah.
And that's Bigelow. These are Bigelow's guys. They've been Bigelow's guys for decades. This material is not going anywhere except for a large warehouse building outside of Las Vegas that has an alien head on the wall.
This is why TTSA. This is why TTSA is all a lie, because everybody who's in that group was lying to us all the years before. Now they're all together. We're supposed to believe them. Yeah, give me a break. It ain't gonna happen.
Bill, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I saw that article floating around yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it's just rehashing old news and making it sound like it's a great new thing out there, mega materials, whatever. Like they say, I mean, they could show a little bit more documentation, but if this is old rehashed news, I mean, is the public that naive they're going to buy it this time around?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Now, in regards to that, the public is buying it, though. They are buying this, at least the people in the mainstream, because they are. And let's be honest here, okay? We may or may not agree with the TTSA. All right, but they have done a lot of good things, especially when it comes to the media coverage of everything. And when it comes to something like that, you know, we have to give credit where credit is due. We don't have to agree with the message, but what we do have to agree with is the fact that there is a lot of people out there who'd never heard of this type of material before. Now, I realize I have been one of the people who's critical. I had a conversation with one of the MUFON board directors just the other day about this, and he asked me point blank, he goes, Dave, why are you so critical? I never hear you say anything positive about TTSA. I said, I'm critical because the message has been controlled since day one. They are not working for the public. That's why I'm critical. I'm critical from a media standpoint, but from a reality standpoint, they've done some good things. You got to give credit where credit is due. We can crap on them all we want, but you can't just throw out the bad without looking at some of the good, William.
I agree. And going to a side note, what the MUFON gentleman mentioned, he said, why are you always critical? As if being critical is the same thing as being negative. It isn't. Two different things. Critical is simply asking valid, legitimate questions and questioning when things are not presented in a certain way. You're simply critical of what the TTSA's message or what have you, and giving them credit when credit is due. But being negative would be just throwing the entire operation under the bus, not giving them credit at all, almost like a debunker would in UFO investigations. So you're exactly right. They've gotten the media attention drawn to this issue. Individuals that are not members of the community, they're just the average Joe regular in the public eye, is more aware of the UFO issue now than there were before. And it's certainly being treated a little more legitimately than it had been for several decades. So that's a result of their efforts. And you're right, regardless of the message, they've accomplished that at least, which says a lot because that had never been accomplished before. Since the 40s, this whole UFO issue has been ridiculed and ridiculed and ridiculed. It's always been tongue-in-cheek. It's never been taken seriously. It's always been a high woo factor. It's been a kook issue. It's never taken seriously. And now it's kind of getting to that point where it is being taken seriously. And that's a credit to them, the TTSA, to that. Beyond that, I'm like you, I'm critical, which is not the same as being negative. I'm just being cautious about, okay, what's going on here? What's really going on here, and what's being ignored by the average person, including people in the UFO community. They're ignoring the background as to this group's origins and their history together. Instead, they're embracing this whole scenario with open arms and not really doing their homework as to say, okay, what has this group been doing prior to this TTSA scenario? They've been together all this time. It's the same individuals giving out the same kind of information. They're just kind of overlooking that, and that's troubling. So that's kind of my take on it so far, Dave.
Rich, what's your thoughts?
That was hard to stay quiet. I think the whole thing is a smokescreen. I think we are being tricked. I think we're being lied to all the time. Yeah, it was great that they got things on the New York Times story and Fox News, and the interviews were all great. And then they gave us other things in between, and the new show. They gave us a lot of stuff in 18 months that normally would have taken about 7-8 years to get all that stuff out. But in the end, we're still in the same spot we were when they started. We still have blurry video, and we still don't have any proof of who's doing what to where, or where to what. I mean, you name it, nothing is getting solved. It's all, we still have questions. What are they? Where are they coming from? They haven't proven that. They just told us fantastic stories of these tic-tac vehicles and other things and changing the narrative to UAP. Why UAP? What if it's in the water? It's still a USO. You know, so you still have to say the certain phrases. I don't understand changing that narrative. I understand there was a stigma that came with it and all the bad stuff that comes with UFO, but in the end, it's confusing. And when I explain it to people what UAP means, they go, "Why don't just call it UFO? It's so much easier." And I go, "I know, but the government wants to do this for a certain reason." And I think it's something else. I think there's something else going on, and they're using this as a smokescreen. I just feel it. I don't know what. It's just not right. Nothing makes sense.
You bring up a good point, though. You get the feeling there is something going on. The audience wants to know, Rich, what do you think is going on then?
Then, you know, it's very possible the false flag alien invasion could be happening. It could be. Because if you look at the video all the videos they showed us, they keep saying there's clearer video and it's a lot longer. We'll never see it. Okay, so these meta materials, I mean, big deal. We've seen them already. You're not going to come up with anything new. The technology hasn't changed. It's still going to come out as nickel or whatever it is, earthly stuff. So I look at other things too, Dave. They had a lot of launches this year, a lot of supposed satellite launches, a lot of SpaceX missions going on, and we never get to see what's going on up there because it's private. You know, they're not letting us see what NASA would normally let us see if it was a government-owned thing. So there's something I think could be them building the actual event creator, the actual putting up the lenses to make the whatever they're going to use for the fake alien invasion. What is that 3D thing? The hologram. I think they're building a hologram, big, huge thing up in the sky. I know that's crazy. But isn't it crazy
to think that
You're turning
it into a flat earther, man. You're turning it into a flat earther.
But don't you think it's something else? I don't know what it is, Dave. That's the whole thing. Nobody knows. All these people say they think they know. Oh, it's going to be this. Oh, it's going to be that. But nobody really knows. Nobody's talking to aliens. Nobody is. Not me, not you, not these guys. Sorry, guys. But
well, let's get Bill Hauser in here on this one. Bill, what do you think is happening with all of this?
Well, it could be like a false flag, or, they could be wagging the dog somewhere along the way here, like a smokescreen, like Richard's saying. So, to be honest with you, they've never been straightforward with the public anyway on any of these issues in Washington. So, they want to do things in the sense of through private contractors like Bigelow and that, more or less to keep themselves curtailed from having to deal with the matters themselves and then being accountable at one end. So, when it comes down to it, it's a credibility at the end of the day. And when politicians and bureaucrats can't be credible, I don't think they're credible at most of the times, but in this case, they've been dragging their feet for such a long time about disclosure and all these aspects. So, to be honest, it doesn't surprise me.
We're going to shift gears here because, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I had a conversation earlier this week with a board member from MUFON, and we were just kind of talking all things UFO, which is always a good time. And so for the public, part of my job, I spend a lot of time on the phone. I don't have much time. Lord knows, Rich, William, Bill here beside me, they know. They try and talk to me. It's like, guys, I'm busy. Or, yeah, I got 20 minutes here to chat, but I'm going to be doing some other things. I'm always doing something because we have to be able to stay in the know. And I have a lot of sources that I will talk to, and some I'll name and others I will not. And one of the things that we were talking about is the fact that with MUFON, they did not respond very well with a lot of these topics. So I stated to this person, I said, when the Pentagon came out with the idea that you were literally, or that they were, literally looking at UFOs, I said that was a perfect opportunity for MUFON to jump on board and say, tell us. We at MUFON, who represent the people, want to know what you're hiding. What happened at Roswell? What happened at Kecksburg? What happened with the Marfa lights, the Brown Mountain lights? All of these different situations that have been investigated. William, I know you, I believe at one point were part of MUFON. Rich, I believe you were too at one point. But I'm curious, do you think, and MUFON has made a lot of mistakes. They are being very cautious right now with everything. But Will, as we got about 2.5 minutes before we go to break, do you think that MUFON should have been more proactive, and would that help their cause in the public eye?
Yes, they should have been. I mean, they're the only major civilian UFO investigative unit in operation. NICAP and APRA were gone. So when that story came out that the Pentagon actually admitted they were investigating UFOs, which to most UFO researchers wasn't really big news, we kind of assumed it was happening. There was documentation to prove that had been happening since the 60s after Blue Book closed. But when the announcement was made to the public, MUFON did drop the ball. They're the only group around, and they should have taken the bull by its horns and gotten in front of the story. At least confronted the Pentagon and inquire, okay, what's going on? You're admitting you're investigating UFOs. You're admitting you're using taxpayer dollars to investigate military interactions with UFOs. Okay, let's take the next step. What's your data? What did that effort reveal? What did you find out? I mean, because that goes along the lines of what MUFON's trying to do. They're trying to find answers to the UFO enigma. And that is regardless of avenue. Therefore, the avenue was presented to them when the Pentagon opened up their mouth and talked about their program. So MUFON should have taken the opportunity to go. And perhaps they were being cautious, and I understand that. But at the same time, that was an admission that had not really happened before. So you got to really jump on it, and they didn't do that. That's very troubling. They didn't. I mean, whether that's a leadership issue or there's some or lack of leadership issue, I don't know. But they certainly missed an opportunity. I
blame the press guy. I don't blame. And you guys know I have been very, very hard on MUFON in the past. So this is not me. This is kind of out of my character defending them a little bit. But I don't blame Jan Harzan and his board. I blame that on the PR guy. That is the PR guy's job. His name is Roger Marsh. If he was a real PR guy, he would have been up to date when the Navy came out with the videos and said what they were doing. When the Pentagon came out, heck, even when the FBI came out and said, no, it wasn't Bigfoot, it was deer hair, they should have come out. They should have come out through a lot of this. And, Rich, I'll get your opinion on this. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. It's the SOR Paranormal Round Table. It happens the final Friday of every month. In studio with me tonight is Bill Hauser, Vancouver paranormal investigator. You've probably heard him on the show doing the live ghost box sessions. We got GUFON Radio's Rich Giordano. Hi, Rich. And we have William Pullin, UFO investigator from San Antonio, Texas, and one badass goatee. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio right after this. Hey, Spaced Out Radio listeners, it's Dave Scott. I want you to check out a great documentary I'm involved in called Beyond the Spectrum, Mossan's UFO Files. Directed by Darcy Weir, the film follows Jaime Mossan's journey for mainstream journalistic truth in ufology in Mexico. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon Prime. If you're a member, watch it free. It's worth the watch. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters of the frozen Canadian tundra. Welcome to all of you, and welcome to the weekend. Hey, I want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can always go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where you can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, listen to the show live. The Gavinator will have new features very, very soon. The final Friday of every month, we have the SOR Paranormal Round Table, where we talk about the month that was. And we are joined tonight by William Pullin, UFO researcher, former scientist out of San Antonio, Texas. Man, am I off. You know why I'll tell you, the reason why I mentioned San Francisco is I got invited this week to speak at a new conference in San Fran. February 20th through 23rd of 2020. So I'm looking forward to that. I got San Fran on my mind. I apologize.
Good for you. All right.
Yeah, thanks, man. We got Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio. And in-house, in studio, the man, the myth, the ghost box legend, Bill Hauser, paranormal investigator out of Vancouver, British Columbia. He's up here to join me on my ghost tour that I'll be doing tomorrow night at the local museum to help raise money. Now, Rich, right before the break, we had asked in regards to MUFON whether they should be taking a more proactive approach with some of these scenarios that are going on, like the Pentagon coming out saying, yeah, we're researching UFOs. They should have had a statement. Do you think that if MUFON took that proactive approach and started speaking more for the people, more looking for those answers, that they would be getting more respect in the community and maybe cleaning up their image a little bit?
That would be great, because they, from what I just heard, they've never been proactive. So I think it was William or Bill was telling me, the guy who's with you. Is it William or Bill?
Bill's here. William's on the other side.
The previous groups were more proactive, and GUFON, from what he says, never was. It never has been. Boy, would that be great, because I always wondered why we never hear them pushing. You know, it's like the John Greenwalds, people like him, trying to get things out in the open with the FOIA requests and stuff. They should be doing that, and I think they do it to a level, but not to a level where it's almost like we better do something because MUFON, I almost said GUFON, because MUFON is all over us, and they're not going to stop. They are really pushing for us to release this evidence, whatever it may be. Like you said earlier in the break, Roswell or, Rendlesham Forest even. I don't know if they got involved with that. I'm sure they must have looked into it. But it would be nice if they did go to work for the people. But, one thing they should do is follow the money trail and see if there were any deals being made behind the scenes. Like, they would literally have to investigate the people who were, running MUFON, look at their bank accounts, everybody's bank accounts, because if it's a nonprofit organization, I wonder if an audit would show something really weird. Like, what's this $100,000? I would like to see an audit done and see if they could find any weird anomalies in their money laundering. I don't know. It's not nice. Money. It's the root of all evil. But, you follow the money. We always say it. Follow the money, you'll get the answers. And I believe for a long time Bigelow's been involved. And I believe that's why they can't go out and be more proactive, because they'd be going against the people that are telling them to not be proactive. Just let us do what we do. We'll give you what you need to do and say, and that's just going to keep everybody happy.
Well, I think there is a big point there that, with the popularity that TTSA is having, that there is an opportunity there literally for TTSA to make MUFON in the future a moot point. An old group.
Yeah.
A group of has-beens. Well, you know that.
Very much so.
Okay. And many other people have that concern as well. I think it would have been and I mentioned this to the board director, it would be a very positive step for them to show that they care about the people, they care about the experiencers, clean up their act a little bit if they were to start being more proactive. Bill, I want to get your opinion on this. I know we don't have a lot of MUFON up here in Canada. Okay, and for people who are just tuning in wondering what MUFON is, MUFON stands for the Mutual UFO Network in the United States. There is a MUFON Canada group. They're mainly based out east. But, Bill, in your opinion, with the way things are going, and I know you follow the UFO scene as well, do you think a group like MUFON should be more proactive at this time as they basically are starting to fall by the wayside?
Well, definitely, I think so. I mean, MUFON has been around for quite a while, and, when you think of UFO researchers and so on, I should say organizations, you think of MUFON. And, to be quite honest, I mean, MUFON should be more forthright in what they do, and, it seems to be all kinds of secrecy through the years, everything around UFO phenomena. But, people are seeing sightings, people are having experiences like Dave himself, and I've seen things in the sky myself, so it's nothing new for us. But, at the same time, MUFON, I think, should actually look at what the public is telling them and, all their critics. And, people are critics for one reason, for critical thinking in the end result. So they should really be looking at that factor.
William?
Agreed. I mean, MUFON's job is to find answers to the UFO enigma. That's their job. Therefore, they should be proactive in that capacity. They haven't been. APRO and NICAP, back prior to 1968, before MUFON arrived or came into the scene, were more proactive, pushing for government examination of the UFO issue. They would make it an issue with local politicians. They were much more proactive into trying to get the military, the government, to at least look at the UFO issue. Now, MUFON, to their credit, has amassed a voluminous amount of data to their credit, and they have a huge amount of sighting reports and just raw data in their storage facilities. But beyond that, they have not been as proactive as they should have been, in my humble opinion, with the government. And now that this story came out with the Pentagon program, that was the opportunity right there to really grab the bull by its horns and go. But they haven't. If they were more proactive, then obviously that would be a great PR move for them, because they would be looked in a more positive light by the general public. And as an end result, their membership may grow, which would give them more of an opportunity to do some more positive work. But they've dragged their feet, and they haven't done enough to clean up their image. If they cleaned up their image, then memberships and things like that kind of takes care of itself. But when you have that black cloud over your organization, and there's missed opportunities along with that, that doesn't solve any problems at all. Whether from a MUFON standpoint or for the community in large. So,
MUFON has a great base. They have a great foundation. Sure, there's some cracks in there. Whether you want to look at, 12 years ago, the Bigelow buying into them, you can look at John Ventry, you can look at other scenarios as well, and they have cracks. But they need to reinvent themselves. They need to reinvent themselves not for themselves, but for the public trust. They know there isn't a lot of public trust out there. They see it. They read the comments. They are highly sensitive to them. That's what my sources have told me. And I think what they need to do when they are meeting in their boardrooms down at the MUFON Symposium this weekend down in Irvine, California, they need to talk about reevaluating what they are going to do in order to bring attention back to them, because they have the ability right now to be pushed and cast aside by TTSA if TTSA keeps growing. You have to be proactive to save your work, your 50 years of dedication to the UFO phenomena, and more so the people. This isn't about MUFON. This isn't about getting people to pay to be investigators at $180 a year. This is about gaining the trust again of the people. And I really do believe they need to take care of that from a media standpoint. They should have been in contact. If Roger Marsh, their media guy, was decent at what he does, and I will throw him under the bus anytime I can because of the fact we caught him lying on an email to our news director, Gail. All right. We've still got the email. We can prove that. That isn't just any BS. All right. If he knew how to do his job as media director, he would have had press releases out to every alternative radio show, every multimedia outlet out there saying, this is Jan Harzan, president of MUFON. Let's get him out here. He wants to talk about these videos that TTSA has. He wants to talk about the Pentagon. He wants to talk about the United States Navy. That was never done. Never done. And shame on Roger Marsh for not doing his job and allowing MUFON to gain more credibility by getting their name out there. Rich.
No, it's because TTSA didn't want anyone in on their action. They were trying to separate the old way of doing things with their way of doing things. That's why. It has nothing to do with MUFON not doing enough. MUFON never did enough. You're as strong as your leaders, and I don't think they had the strongest of all leaders recently. Nice people, but, TTSA, they're the ones who didn't bring Stanton Friedman in or Dolan or Greer or people who've been in this thing for a while because they wanted to do it their way and rewrite history, their narrative, their way, their people, their sightings, credibility. That's all it had to do with. It was a big flexing scene. It was all about them flexing their muscle that they're going to change this once and for all. And I believe that was the good intent of TTSA. I thought it was smart of them not to bring everybody in. After I complained about them not bringing them in, then I thought about it. It makes sense now. They want to. This is all about the Navy. It's all about this Navy, and their experience. And it was so important that he wanted everybody to know about Elizondo, TTSA, whoever's running that show over there, Bigelow. That's why they weren't involved. But I know what you're saying. You'd like to see MUFON maybe, and Roger Marsh should have pushed. But maybe they were being held back, Dave,
Well, my sources say they weren't they weren't held back. They just didn't think about it.
Everybody's lying.
I agree with Dave. I mean, Rich, and you make some good points too. But but there's no reason why Marsh should not have been all over that. Like white on rice. He should have had everything ready from the word go. The minute that story came out, he should have been all over that. And he would have been able to do that regardless of what any other group wants to do or what any kind of influence. He's their media guy. He's supposed to do his job. And I've never been a MUFON member, but when I made my ill-advised attempt to work with him here in San Antonio, I'm very proactive, and they clearly were uncomfortable with that. They were uncomfortable with change. Wow. They want change to go very, very slowly, and it doesn't get it done. You have to get people involved. There are people that have experienced things that are anomalous. They want an answer. They want to get involved. They want to feel like they're not left out, hanging with their pants down. But MUFON drags their feet, and that's not a positive thing. You're right. TTSA has their own way of doing things. They've been a lot more proactive than MUFON has. You're right. But MUFON still, they're responsible for dropping the ball. Or at least on their end, they did. And that should have never happened.
Right, I get that. But if they're being told, and let's say MUFON and TTSA are a team, maybe there is some handshaking going on behind the scenes. I'll give you a couple of these, hush, hush, don't say a word, and maybe that's why. Maybe that's why GUFON didn't. I can't believe I just said that. MUFON. Maybe that's why they're not more proactive, because they're being shushed. They're saying, just take care of the little things. You'll be our back door in case we have to take real evidence out. We're going to use you as a smokescreen. I don't know, but I just think that would be logical, because what other reason would them? They've never been proactive, so why start now? Because it's a big time, I know, TTSA, the New York Times article, all that stuff. But it never forced them to do anything in the past. So it's not abnormal.
Yeah, actually, that's probably the only reason why I won't agree with you. Although you make great points, Rich. But the only reason I don't agree with you is because MUFON's been non-proactive their entire history.
Right.
So it didn't take any kind of influence from any other group to get them there. They've always been slow to change. So the TTSA would have had to. They wouldn't have had to make any effort at all. They didn't have to worry about MUFON. And MUFON, unfortunately, does not realize that the TTSA is their competition. They're in competition for
what?
People want to get some confirmation. There are experiences out there. People want to report their sightings. People want answers. And if MUFON is dragging their feet and the other group isn't, they're going to gravitate toward the other group. But MUFON is slowly, hopefully, waking up and opening their eyes and realizing that the TTSA is going to put them out of business if they don't watch it.
You know what? I will say this. I will say this, though, because I think you bring up a good point in regards to MUFON, gentlemen. You look at their board of directors. They're an older group. Most of their members are 55 plus years of age. You could say the same thing about the To the Stars Academy, but you look at the followers. They have gone after the younger followers, the younger people who have had that interest in TTSA. You could thank Tom DeLonge for that and his music career for that, and the way he knows how to work social media. All right, even if he erases 1 out of every 3 tweets, right? You can thank them for getting that public face out there. And DeLonge has done a good job with that. He really has. I hate to say it, drives me nuts. I'm grinding my teeth, rolling my eyes.
But you're right.
I say it.
You're right.
That's the reality of it. Whereas MUFON has catered to the older crowd for so long, and the younger crowd is sitting there saying, guys, we're not trusting you anymore. You're the old guard. You guys are the guys who allowed John Ventry in after he made some very heinous racial comments. You guys are the ones who allowed Bigelow to buy in. You guys are the ones who sold out a lot of people's information, private information. Where have you changed? Now we look at TTSA, and they are sexy, and they are new, and sure, they have a few ex-spooks on their team, but we can trust them because they're talking UFOs. And, Tom DeLonge wouldn't put his career and reputation on the line to lie to us, would he? No. He talked about, being on a first date, and what's my age again? And all of those hit songs and great lyrics that we all laughed and danced to back when we were still going to raves and parties.
Not me.
Well, that's because you're a Barry Manilow fan.
So
but Dave, you're right. DeLonge is connecting with a far more diverse crowd, not just as far as age. It's a younger, more social media savvy crowd. The MUFON crowd is kind of defined as an old guard. I mean, I've lectured for the San Antonio group, and I've lectured in Houston. And both groups, both local meetings, looked like 90% people over 40 years old that were white. That it's a very set, old guardish looking group. There's a severe lack of diversity.
But you know
whereas the TDSA, he's reaching a far more diverse group of people, and that's to his credit. You're right. I'm grinding my teeth too, but it's his credit.
Well, let me tell you why you're seeing a lot of old white hairs and people over 50. It's because when you get to a certain age, you somehow find the time to do that. Either you have a disability, now you can go skywatching. Either you retired, you can go skywatching. You made your millage, you can go skywatching. You're sick, you can get a camera and go skywatching. There's a lot of reasons why we see every one of these conventions I've gone to, it's a lot of old people, not a young crowd. No matter if Tom DeLonge's going to be the head, guy or whatever. It's always going to be that group because they have the time to do the research. While the younger crowd, they have the weekends and summer to do stuff, but they're working, they're building their lives from 20 to 45. I don't know, man. There's a lot of factors and variables that go into why a certain age group and white to black or whatever is seeing UFOs and going to the conventions. Because mainly 98% white people, guys, isn't it? So with that being said, I think that's the reason.
We got about 2.5 minutes here before we got to go to break here at the top of the hour. It's the SOR Paranormal Round Table. Bill Hauser, William Pullin, and Rich Giordano are our guests tonight. In regards to MUFON, and Rich, I'll get your opinion, and then you can take this home. Right. What should they be doing different to improve? Never mind crapping on what they've done in the past. That's in the past. Let's talk about from today forward. If Rich Giordano was running MUFON on a PR category, what would you be doing to get your name back out there and back in black?
I would definitely get a younger crowd, no matter what. And I would have one guy be the older guy, like the guy who could be like the leader of the younger crowd. But everybody has, like you'd get Chris Cogswell. He's a young guy, right? And he could be that guy who analyzes everything. And then I would get, I don't know, man. You could be a voice for it, I guess. I would get different people that are almost in the know. You know what I mean? Like people have a lot of talent, but nobody's listening to. I would start fresh. Rip the Band-Aid off. Start over from scratch. Get new equipment. Get people who know what they're doing, that they don't have to take that MUFON test. You know what I mean? Get people who know what they're doing, who've been there, boots on the ground, research. And I don't care if you're an analytical guy or work in a lab. You're going to hold a camera today, buddy, and you're going to learn what it's like to shoot in high 8, digital, or whatever. People need to know the equipment. I would have seminars once a month. They don't do that kind of stuff, I don't think, as much as they used to, but they need to. You need to have these things either on their website, on Skype, some sort of thing where you can get a hold of the young people through social media and get the young, 5, get a team of 5, whatever it is, whatever you can find out there. I don't know everybody's name, but you got to rip the Band-Aid off, start fresh. You can't just take one piece out at a time with them because it's still got some old thinking in there.
There's a lot of old thinking on there. And Bill Hauser and William Pullin, I'm going to get your opinions on that when we come back from the break. We're also going to get into a little paranormal television because it was announced earlier this month that Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters would be bringing a new edition, a new startup for his show. And we're going to talk about that as well on Spaced Out Radio, the final Friday of the month. It's the SOR Paranormal Round Table. We're having a lot of fun tonight, some great debate, some great topics, more in hour 2, right after this.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacy, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com. Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Hey fans, it's Dave Scott. Do I have something for you to check out? A great documentary about legendary Mexican investigative journalist Jaime Maussan and his search for the truth about UFOs. Beyond the Spectrum, Maussan's UFO files can be found on Amazon Prime. It's free to watch if you're a member. You might even hear me in it. So check out Beyond the Spectrum, only on Amazon Prime. The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, hanging out with you from SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, in Noonan, Georgia, WQEE 99.1 FM, and UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. On the digital side, we are on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Thank you for hosting us. And don't forget, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Kaka. Kaka is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have soon a plethora of features coming for you. The Gavinator is setting that up. Right now, you can read up on the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine, all put together by Captain Shirk. Listen to the show live soon. There will be much more. It's the SOR Paranormal Round Table. It happens the final Friday of every month, and we are talking tonight with Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio. We're talking with William Pullin, UFO researcher out of San Antonio, Texas, and in studio with me, special guest, Bill Hauser, Vancouver paranormal guru. And he's rolling his eyes at me. I just got a dirty look when I said guru. But Bill is in studio tonight because we are going to do a tour tomorrow night at my local museum, where I host a charity tour to raise money for the museum. Every one of you, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate all of you being here on the round table tonight. Bill, we're going to continue with you here. Now, right before the break, we were talking about MUFON. And if you were running MUFON and you wanted to get right back into the game and get into the forefront where people are mentioning MUFON, in conjunction with TTSA or in conjunction with other UFO groups right now, if you were the big guy in the chair, what would you be doing?
Well, I think first look at the public relations aspect. Probably get rid of the public relations guy they have already and really focus with the younger generation, because really that's who's going to carry the torch later down the road. And, you know, the thing is they got to be a little more proactive in some of their aspects of conducting themselves now and being able to give good information to the public and so on. So that's kind of where I feel that they should be going in that direction.
How about you, William? What's your thoughts?
I have 3 points. One, they need to clean house. Any individuals that have conducted themselves in anything less than a professional manner, you're out. 2, they need to be more social media savvy, so they can gain more membership and have some level of diversity. That's a huge deal. 3, the organization takes in a fair amount of money, and not a single cent of that is spent on the local groups. The local chapters get no support financially from the higher organization. That needs to change. The local chapters are barely surviving, and the higher organization just leaves them out to flounder. That needs to change also. If those 3 things are addressed, a lot of positive changes can come. Will it happen? We'll see.
All right, let's change topics here, gentlemen, as we're going to talk a little bit of paranormal television. Now, everybody remembers Jason Hawes from his day with Grant and their team on Ghost Hunters. They were on the air for, I believe, 15 seasons. One of the most popular and highest-rated ghost hunting television shows ever. That's probably been surpassed by Ghost Adventures with Zach Bagans now, because he's just so darn hot. Really hot. But nonetheless, okay, Jason Hawes and his team, he's split up with Grant, and him and his team are now planning a resurrection of sorts, reincarnation, if you want to talk, woo, bringing back a new television series that may be called Ghost Nation here in the fall. Now, my question to you guys is, do we need this? There are so many different paranormal television shows out there. UFO, I believe that John Tenney had stated at one point there was going to be 8 new UFO shows in the United States alone. And that is going a little bit overboard. I think. But hey, the networks want them. They're red hot. They're paying the bills and making money. So it's a double-edged sword. Bill, do we need another reboot of Ghost Hunters, except under a different name?
Well, again, that's rehashing. And, they basically really started the whole movement of paranormal TV shows in itself. To be honest with you, my thoughts on paranormal TV shows is they're all about entertainment, number one. They need to entertain the public for the public to be really keen on it. So I've gone on record this time last year in the Philippines saying basically all the North American paranormal TV shows are entertainment based. And so, yeah, I just sort of shake my head. Ghost Nation. Come on. That's crazy in my eyes. I hardly ever look at paranormal TV shows, to be honest with you, and I'm a paranormal investigator.
But, Bill, I want to ask a follow-up here with you, because, the one thing I notice about a lot of these paranormal television shows, they're not looking for solutions. They're going into locations to prove or disprove whether or not they are haunted. What does that actually prove? Because in the real world of ghost hunting, or paranormal investigation, whatever politically correct term you want to use, you can never prove whether or not the spirits are going to be there. So you could be in a house where you're getting action 10, 12 days in a row. And then you could go a month, 2 months, 6 months without anything happening. The house is haunted, But you can't predict when it's not there. So when they go on television to say, yeah, we don't think there's anything happening at this location, well, that can hurt a lot of business. That can hurt tourism for those places. It's great to say that, oh, well, we appeared on Ghost Nation or Ghost Hunters or whatever. But if they go there and say, yeah, no, this place isn't haunted, that could kill an entire tourism revenue for you.
Well, of course, and, when it comes down to it, I mean, a lot of these TV shows are based on a reality TV show concept. So, I mean, I look at, they're there to entertain us, basically. And, what you're just saying, yeah, I mean, they could say this about this location. But, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, you got to go back at least 2 or 3 or more times to really get the gist of that location and be able to document it.
Rich, what's your thoughts?
Oh, man, I used to yell at the TV. Hold on. I used to get so mad when they would go to somebody's house that had all these claims, and then they say, we didn't catch anything in these 8 hours, so it's not haunted. Oh, my God. I mean, are you kidding me? I believe you have to stay there at least a week, maybe even longer. Just this way you can get patterns and see things in daytime and nighttime, see people interact. You don't even have to go where people live. You can go to a haunted location and do it the right way and stay there for a week. Nobody's doing that. That's the next thing that should be done. We're going to live in a haunted house. Now, that would bring up a lot of problems, too, because now there's the chance they're going to fake stuff the longer they're there. So you can't win. It's a double-edged sword no matter what they do. So you have to go and keep putting these shows out, and hopefully there will be a credible group that will take off and make the television money. I mean, it's all about money. It really is when it comes down to it. And they're not going there helping anybody. They never, got rid of the spirits. They just found out they were there. There was no follow-up to it. Like you were just saying, no follow-up? I mean, come on, you got to go back. Yeah, it's all for money. It's all 8 UFO shows. Well, we know that 4 are out already, maybe 5. So there's only 3 left. That doesn't seem like a lot to me. I want more. I'm one of those people who loves watching this stuff, dissecting it, learning what they're doing, the cameras, the equipment they're using. So in a way, I kind of like it for that. But, yeah, they're not really doing any real investigating, I don't believe.
What's your thoughts, William?
I'm with Rich. It's all about money. They're shows. I mean, I recall UFO Hunters on History Channel back about 10 years ago. Same thing, kind of loosely scripted. They interview people. They talk amongst themselves. They conduct some experiments. But these are non-predictable occurrences. You can't predict a UFO sighting. You can't predict if you go to a house that's supposedly haunted, and you can't say, okay, we know the ghost is going to be here at 4 a.m. Central Time. Well, you can't predict that. So you can't just film a 60-minute program and assume you're going to see anything. So it's about money. It's a show. It's to entertain the public and get them interested in your show, in your program, even though most of those programs are not legitimate investigations. They're not. They're loosely scripted, and they're filmed a certain way to keep the audience tuned in, keep them involved, keep them excited about what may or may not transpire. And usually it doesn't transpire. That's kind of all it is. So in and of itself, I guess it's enjoyable to watch. I mean, I don't watch any UFO shows until months after the fact, like Project Blue Book. I didn't watch the episodes till quite a ways after. But I know what they are. They're not documentaries. They're not filmed examples of legitimate investigative efforts. They're not. They're TV programs. They're a show. So I accept them as they are and just enjoy them for what they are, and that's it. There'll be some that will take the wrong way, but it's still, you're right. It's just about money. So if there's more shows out there, I guess it's better than the other side of the coin. If there were no UFO shows out there, if there were no shows about ghosts, then they wouldn't bring any attention to the issues. So I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword, but it's better than not having any shows at all.
It was funny because Chuck, who owns a pair of the radio stations we broadcast on in KDUN and KZFX, he hates it when I say KZFX, the Canadian way. And I know he's listening right now and laughing and rolling his eyes at me right now, probably shaking his fist at me. But, you know, him and I had this conversation the other day in regards to paranormal television, because Chuck does a lot in both mediums on a daily basis. And one of the conversations we were having recently was about paranormal television and the fact that all of these cable networks have, for the last 15 years, jumped on this brand of quote-unquote reality TV, even though we know as long as there's a producer there, everything is staged. And when we were talking about that, we took our eyes and we looked over at radio. And really, outside of Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis, fantastic show, and Coast to Coast AM, with whomever's hosting. Hopefully it's the mustache, the power stash of George Norrie, because I am a George Norrie fan. All right? And I've been up close to that mustache. I almost touched it. I almost reached my finger over and poked it just to see if it was real. Power lip blade, man. Power lip blade. Anyways, the point that I'm getting at is it's amazing how one medium is making a boatload of money off of this because they see the ratings, they see the entertainment factor, they see everything that goes along with it, and the audience is eating it up like there is no tomorrow. It doesn't matter if it's a crap time on a Friday night or if it's on a hot Thursday, Wednesday prime time. They are eating it up. Yet on radio, the radio stations outside of those markets that play coast to coast are not picking up. There's over 10,000 radio stations in the United States alone, and less than 1,000 of those stations are broadcasting anything paranormal. Check that. Less than 850 of them are broadcasting anything paranormal for any type of programming. They're missing out on an entire medium here, William.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. They're dropping the ball. I mean, clearly people are enamored with this. They're interested in the phenomena, whether it's cryptozoology, UFOs, ghosts, paranormal, ESP, whatever. They're excited about it. There's people talk about it on social media. People are interested in these topics. Therefore, it makes sense to have programming that feeds this hunger, that will motivate people. I'm going to listen to this radio station. They have a paranormal show on. I'm interested in that. I'm going to tune in, whether it's at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. or 4 a.m. Doesn't matter. If you're interested, you will find the time to tune in, and viewership goes up and it gets the ball rolling. But with paranormal, you're right. So few stations carry it. It's a huge missed opportunity. Hopefully that will change in the future. But yeah, you're right. The numbers it's horrible how low of a percentage of radio stations actually have any kind of paranormal programming. That's unfortunate.
I do believe there is an answer to that, though. And Rich, I'd like to get your opinion on this. I think it's because a lot of these radio stations have been ripped off by a lot of these people out there who call themselves radio show hosts, who call themselves professional broadcasters, who call themselves journalists. And they don't know what a radio clock is. They don't know what it's like to time out. They don't know a lot of the technique that is actually needed in order to create a proper radio show. Now, we're blessed because we have proper people in place who could take care. So what I know how to talk in front of a microphone, but I sure as hell don't know how to set it up. That's what Chuck is for. You know what I'm saying? That's what Chuck does. That's his job. And he's done a miraculous and fantastic job over the last number of months in doing that. And the previous people we had in place for that did a great job as well when they were still with us. But in the meantime, Rich, I think because of podcasting, because of YouTube, because of all of these so-called networks out there that charge you to pay or pay to play, and there's a lot of them out there who are ripping people off, I think that's the reason why mainstream radio, terrestrial radio, hasn't jumped as much on the bandwagon because they don't know and they don't have time to figure out the who's who. And the other people out there don't even know what a demo tape is, let alone a radio wheel.
And I understand that, but it's the radio station should have people that know how to research, hosts. They could send them emails and ask them, what do you know about this? It's not that hard for them to vet the right host. It's just hard to find, people who, they want a certain voice for radio, I think, and that's where they're missing it. It's the mixture of personalities and voices that would make this up, because the topic itself is interesting enough. And somebody like you, even I want to get out there and have a real radio show someday. I feel we can deliver the goods in a professional way. You do it already. I'm still learning after 15 years. But Dave, as you're finding out, I've learned alongside you, it is not easy. It is hard because of people are lying and making up numbers or lying about their experience or whatever, their connections. You got to have connections. You got to get guests. There's a lot of things that go into having a successful radio show that a lot of people don't know. Some people will get lucky and just turn it on and start talking and people will follow them. They're gifted. But that's a 1 in a billion chance. I say it's just because it's really hard. And it's hard to get advertisers that want to follow that show. I think they feel like if they follow a paranormal show, it's almost a slap to their credibility. Because Coca-Cola is not going to, sponsor a paranormal radio show. So on that end of it, I could see why they would be scared. But nobody's really taking any chances either. And I don't know why that's not happening. And the only one that's been on there is what? Coast to Coast? And who else? I don't know anybody else. So it's kind of weird.
Clyde Lewis would be the only other one.
Yeah. Not the reach of a Coast to Coast, though. So, yeah, man. They're taking a big chance, too.
Well, you know what? There's only one way to change that, and that's to try and get out to the people and do that. And I know Chuck is doing that. He won't tell me who he's talking to. He's keeping me in the blind, which we have a part of our business motto is to stay in our lanes. All right, my lane is to host the show and produce the show. His lane is to get the radio stations. Catherine's lane is to take care of the social media. Gail's lane is to take care of the news. Gavin's lane is to take care of the website and rebuild that. So
I don't like that.
The big thing is we all got to bring it together. And you're right, though. It's the way it's got to be professional. It's got to be cut. There are a lot of talented people out there. Rich, you've worked with some. I've worked with some. I look at Bill and William. They've been hosted by some.
Yeah.
And I think all of us have been hosted by ones who shouldn't even be allowed in front of a microphone.
Agreed.
We've all had that. But on the flip side, I do believe that this is something, and we'll get Bill's opinion on this right after the break. This is something, though, that as we move closer to disclosure, as UFOs become more hot-button topics, and we see other topics becoming more mainstream every single day, that radio is eventually going to have to jump on the bandwagon. They're not going to have a choice. The ratings are there, and especially for their advertising potential, the money is there. It's just a matter of delivering a high-quality product, and that's what the majority of radio hosts in the paranormal need to learn. We'll be back with the SOR Paranormal Round Table. Rich Giordano, Bill Hauser, William Pullin, and myself, Dave Scott, right after this break. Hey, Spaced Out Radio listeners, it's Dave Scott. I want you to check out a great documentary I'm involved in called Beyond the Spectrum, Mosson's UFO Files. Directed by Darcy Weir, the film follows Jaime Mosson's journey for mainstream journalistic truth in ufology in Mexico. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon Prime. If you're a member, watch it free. It's worth the watch.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Every night on Space Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESSA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, hanging out in the studio with Mr. Bill Hauser at SOR headquarters. I want to remind all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can always go to our YouTube channel for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. That's where we store our archives. Just hit that subscribe button. I think it's a pretty fair trade. And our website is spacedoutradio.com, where Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the news for the SOR Newswire. The Gavinator's building more features right now, so make sure you check that on out. And new features will be coming very, very soon. The final Friday of the month, we have the SOR Paranormal Round Table, as we will be hanging out a little bit longer with Bill Hauser, Vancouver paranormal investigator. You also hear him here every couple of months with live ghost box sessions. I don't know why. That's hard to say. Live ghost box sessions sometimes. Maybe that's just me. It's my Canadian accent, I guess. We also got GUFON Radio's Rich Giordano and William Pullin, UFO researcher from San Antonio, Texas. Height unknown, weight unknown. Usually he wears a mask, except for where his goatee is hanging out. Gentlemen, welcome back. Now, Bill, we wanted to get your opinion on this because you're somebody, up here in Canada, we don't get a lot of paranormal radio. It's hard to find on the dial. Yes. And it's something that, I guess we're us Canadians are very jealous of our American brothers and sisters, is they get a ton of selection, a plethora of selection when it comes to radio, when it comes to television and options there of the programming that we love. But up here, we don't get that. We really don't. So what do you think? Is radio dropping the ball on, and I'm saying terrestrial radio, dropping the ball on carrying paranormal, knowing how popular it is and how ratings skyrocket?
Yeah, to a certain degree. I think regular radio, and it's right, only look at the paranormal a lot during Halloween, I've noticed up here in the Vancouver area. Again, that's great and everything that they recognize it, but, all spooky things around Halloween and all that, it's a good time. But, it's all year round, far as I'm concerned, the paranormal. It never goes away. And, there's lots of podcasts. There's some really good ones and, not so good ones, but, each to their own. And I've been on quite a number of shows as a guest and so on. So, again, I think when it comes down to it, it's if these people are conducting their podcast, they need to really do good research on their guests and be able to present a really good show. I mean, even if they are amateur and they're not a professional journalist or got trained in that, they can still do a good job if they have the right charisma, everything that goes with what they do. I mean, I never thought I would be doing talk radio and being guests on shows, but here I am now after about 10 years of doing it. So, you know, it was a lady in New York that encouraged me, so I give great thanks to her. And, you know, this is what you need to do. It's being able to present what you do in a fairly professional way so the public can understand and so on. And I keep it as truthful as possible.
That's a good way to put it. Good way to put it. Hey, we want to give a quick shout out to the Ukrainian Watermelon, Ron Moniak and Kelly Moniak, the Mrs. Ukrainian Watermelon. They're sitting, longtime listeners of this show, they're sitting at a resort sipping some wine in the middle of British Columbia here, enjoying a nice holiday away. They just became grandparents like a week ago, too, to their first grandchild. So thank you so much for listening in, the Watermelons from Saskatchewan. Really appreciate that. And we're going to move on here on the topics. All right? We're going to move on here. Let's get to a little bit of time travel because we had an awesome guest last night named Rob Shelsky. And we started getting into a little bit of time travel. And I asked Rob whether or not he believes that time travel has already happened, that we have people here from different timelines or have people on our timeline traveled to the future or into the past via some sort of jump room, much like what Andrew Bashago has talked about over years of saying he was a child chrononaut. William, you got the scientific background. Do you think that currently we have the ability to time travel when we look at all the technology that is being hidden from us?
No. I think the potential is there at some point in the future. Science always develops. Science is always built on the shoulders of the prior generation. So at some point, could we attain an ability to travel through time? I believe so. I don't know how close we are to it. I don't think we're very close at all. And part of that is because I don't know what technology we have hidden from us. I don't know. By definition, because it's hidden from us, none of us knows what is being hidden from us, which sounds like a double negative. But if it's hidden from us, we're unaware of it. So we don't know how far that technology has progressed. So the physical laws don't really prevent, at least mathematically, don't really prevent the potential for time travel. So that's one thing. Of course, the real world doesn't always work the same way it does on a blackboard, but in certain ways it does. So there's nothing to prevent you from traveling through time, but how would you physically attain that? I don't know. I mean, our technology is not there yet, but I think it's a possibility in the future. But that opens up a whole nother Pandora's box. Because if you travel through time, whether forward or back, especially backwards, you could inadvertently change things in the past, which would obviously affect everything down the road in the future. So you may actually affect your actual existence. Kind of like that grandfather paradox. You go back in time to kill your grandfather, and you do, well, then how can you actually go back in time to carry your grandfather? Because your grandfather would have been killed, which would have killed your father's father, which means you would have killed your father. So it opens up a whole Pandora's box of possibilities, which can be discussed for eons and eons and eons. But beyond that, I think it's a potential possibility for the future. But I don't think we're anywhere close to it now, though.
What do you think, Rich?
Dave, I got it all figured out.
Here we go.
I mean, seriously.
Here we go.
Seriously. I'm not joking around. I'm a regular guy. I find myself to be average in everything I do except for one gift. Now, with that being said, time travel cannot happen. I'll tell you why. It's not like you're going to go and put in the year 2250 on a little dial and it's going to throw you to 2250. That's so silly. Same if you go backwards. How do you know how much energy, what type of energy, where to aim it? Where's the Earth going to be in 500 years from now? What if there's something, a paradox out in space while the Earth is flying through it that slows it down? But you do your math and you didn't see that anomaly that slowed the Earth going thousands of miles an hour to, maybe a few thousand miles an hour or less. So if you go to time travel, you're going to miss the Earth and land in space somewhere. I don't buy that this is happening and can happen because of that. I don't know how they can get the energy and aim it, where to go, and how to get. How do you get there? Nobody knows. How are you going to go to the dinosaurs, 65 million years? How do you program it? That, to me, I can't figure that one out. So how are they figuring it out? Nobody's ever explained it to me. Everything's got to be in a perfect place. Nothing can change the current flow. We're all in perpetual motion. Well, what if something slows that down or speeds it up? Your timing's way off. You're not going to land back here in a different time. I think it's impossible. I think you run into, and the grandfather thing, that's opening up all different timelines. If you go back in time, kill your grandfather, is your father born? Well, no, but you're still you in another timeline, so that doesn't affect you. It just affects a new timeline. It creates another one. End of that story. Thank you very much. You can't do it. Can't happen. It's all a dream. End of story.
Well, you're just a heartbreaker. Now, Rich, before we move on here, you made a little bit of comment that there was only one thing that you were good at. Now I got questions from the audience. What's that one thing you were good at, Rich? What is that one thing?
Dave, we'll have to talk at the break.
I'm going to say it's making love in front of the fire with Barry White playing in the background. That's what I think it is. You are a romantic lush. That's what it is. Exactly. Bill Hauser, time travel. Real or fake?
Well, right now I'd have to say that it's like fake. I tend to think of it as science fantasy, but however, it could easily be possible in the future down the way. But right now, no. I know I've seen these YouTube videos of apparent people claiming to be from the future, but I mean, really, I think that's really, there's no way to explain it, but I just pass it off. But yeah, I mean, time travel, it's been a great concept, no question about it. I mean, it's made for great movies and science fiction shows, but I mean, right now, we're not quite there yet.
I'm going to disagree with all of you salty guys here. You guys are salty. I do believe it's happened.
Watch it, brother.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Let me tell you something, Speedball. You can't go traveling around the universe to other dimensions. Never mind. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
And I'm not saying that I believe the John Teeter story. I'm not saying that I believe Andrew Bashago. When it comes to them, I do want to believe. There's a big difference, all right? But I go back to the fact that we have a lot of technology out there that has been held from us. I think we can all agree on that. Whether it's these TR-3Bs, the secret space program, going back to 1992 when the former head of Lockheed Skunk Works, Ben Rich, said we've already got the technology to get ET home again. And then I look at, all of these rockets that were blasting off like SpaceX and thinking, boy, are we dealing with primitive technology there when we should be dealing with, hyperspace? I think that it is out there. I think that there are time travelers walking around. Do I have any proof? Not a drop. It's a romantic side of me that wants to believe this. And trust me, old Davey can get romantic. Just like you in front of the fireplace, Rich.
That's right.
All right?
Yeah.
Right? And we could go there, But I believe that there has to be something to it. There has to be. Like in the case of Andrew Bashago, he has had other people come out and say that they were part of that program too. I will be speaking in Toronto at the Alien Cosmic Expo with another person who has taken a lot of criticism in Randy Kramer, who believes that he spent 17 of his 20 years in the military based on Mars. We don't really know. Maybe he did. Maybe he is just absolutely selling a fantastic story in order to get a free trip and a little bit of popularity. We don't know. We don't know. The possibility is there. Now, when it comes to somebody like Corey Goode, don't believe it for a second. I really don't, because I know enough people who knew Corey Goode before the stories ever came out that say this is all made up. But I do believe there are people out there who have had some strange experiences, that they believe this has happened. And what's wrong with researching it? What's wrong with it? What's wrong? Instead of us giving an opinion saying that isn't true, that can't happen. I'm no scientist. I don't know if it can happen or not. I just like a good woo, man. I like the good woo, you know? And that's the way it comes out. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, getting defensive for really no argument at all.
That way of thinking is dangerous, though.
How is it dangerous?
Because you're believing something that has no proof to it. It's all theoretical, and then that leads to people telling stories, and that story's so believable, now they're going to write a book and they're going to make money off lies. It's just dangerous.
That's true, but heavier than air flight was theoretical in 1860.
Yeah, but that's a physical thing. Time travel it is physical, but that's something
we don't know tangible. At this point.
Not at
we
this
don't
point.
know at this point.
Maybe 50 or 100 years from now, but I've never read anywhere how they can do it. I've heard theories.
Well, we don't know. We are unaware how to do it at this point.
I understand
it may or may not happen in the future, though.
But can you explain to me maybe how they can choose a year and go to it and land on the Earth they're on now without knowing what's out there? I mean, that I don't understand. Do they put
no one on the
numbers?
planet can. That's my point. The specifics of how to attain time travel are unknown. All of them are. They're unknown at this point. That does not mean it could not happen in the future. It may never happen, or it might happen. We just don't know. But the logistics of how to accomplish it, no one on the planet knows how to do that right now. No, it's all drawing board stuff.
Look, I'm a romantic too. I want this to happen badly, but I'm a realist, and I don't see how it can be done, and nobody can explain. Not even the smartest people on the planet can explain it. So to me, means that it's not happening, and all you can do is have romantic thoughts about it in front of the fireplace. That's it.
Don't forget the Barry White.
Barry White.
Oh, come on.
I was thinking Judas Priest, but okay.
Yeah, so there we go.
Yeah.
I can see Rich in his robe standing in front of a fireplace. Time travel, I can't get enough of your love, babe. I can see you doing that, Rich.
I have done that, so it's true. I have done that.
Oh, my goodness. Now I need a drink.
We've got about 4.5 minutes here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. It's the SOR Paranormal Round Table tonight. You know, I understand where you're going with that, Rich, and I think your answer is highly logical, very unwoo-filled, which is disappointing because there's no woo in it whatsoever, all right? No. But I do believe that there is some sort of technology that we could get, that we may have the ability to already do it. I mean, there's just too many weird things that I have experienced myself. Now, I haven't experienced time travel, all right? But little things that mainstream science says is impossible, and I've experienced it myself. And that's why I probably keep an open mind on a lot of this stuff. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's dangerous. I don't know. But I do know that with some of the experiences I have had, take my Bigfoot experience, where I saw the pixelation, and another person with me saw pixelation standing beside a tree from the ground up to about 8-10 feet high. And 30 seconds later, from that exact area, we got roared at by a Sasquatch. And I will never forget that sound. Mainstream science says that is impossible. Bigfoot is an animal. First Nations don't believe that. Indigenous people across Canada and the United States believe there is something magical, supernatural with this creature. Many of them do. Some don't. Most of them do. And that's why when I look at it from a purely romantic standpoint, a woo-mantic standpoint, let's call it woo-mantic. That sounds better. A woo-mantic standpoint.
Nice.
Okay, I believe that there is the ability to do that. Do I have any proof? Not an ounce, as I said earlier. Not an ounce. But I do know I cannot science, and I've talked to people like William, who has got a scientific background, Chris Cogswell, who has a scientific background, the late Dr. John Bindernagel, about my Bigfoot experience. Talked to them. I've talked to other people as well. And every time I talk about the pixelation and the First Nations, they are blown away by it. And they cannot explain what happened because of that. So, yes, I am a little bit more open-minded, Rich, when it comes to this.
That's not... don't insinuate that I'm not, because I don't think there's anybody more open-minded than me. I just live in the reality that I exist in. And I only know what I see, and I only know what I know. And I know you know the same thing. You know what you saw, and you're speculating that what? Now, could it be a different dimension? Is dimension jumping time traveling?
That's a good
Or is it
question.
just a lateral move? Yeah.
I accidentally touched Bill's knee.
Oh,
he's all excited now. Yeah.
Got the Judas Priest on. Let's go.
Bill, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this? We got about a minute.
Well, talking about Sasquatch going into another dimension, that I would tend to have a little bit more understanding, I guess, in a way, to believe that could very well happen and what Dave has experienced and so on. But is that really a form of time travel? And we're really referring to humans time traveling. Now, when it comes down to it, I think maybe the essence of our minds could move ahead and get the essence of the future. I think that's possible, but not our physical body right now, as our flesh and blood body moving forward in time.
That's awesome. Yeah, because your brain is like an energy wave. It's energy, right? Isn't that what you're meaning? Your brain power, your brain can be sucked in, but your body can't?
Could very well be.
Is that what he means?
Could very well be. We'll continue the conversation, gentlemen, as we got to go to a break here at the top of the hour. The SOR Paranormal Round Table happens the final Friday of every month. Our next one will be on Friday, August 30th, heading into the long weekend. I think we'll have Merle Morin in studio that night. That's going to be a lot of fun. Bill Hauser, William Pullin, Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio, along with myself, Dave Scott, hanging out for the SOR Paranormal Round Table. We'll be back with Hour 3 coming up right after this.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, We're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Hey fans, it's Dave Scott. Do I have something for you to check out? A great documentary about legendary Mexican investigative journalist Jaime Maussan and his search for the truth about UFOs. Beyond the Spectrum, Maussan's UFO files can be found on Amazon Prime. It's free to watch if you're a member. You might even hear me in it. So check out Beyond the Spectrum, only on Amazon Prime.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacey, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
From the mile-high mountains of Colorado to all of you around the world, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I invite you to stick around spacedoutradio.com for Saturday and Sunday nights where I host Spaced Out Weekend. Let me take you on a wild ride of weird and strange topics, from ghosts and ETs to remote viewing, psychic phenomena, and so much more. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern Time on Spaced Out Weekend, where we own the night.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social media freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social media freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Hi to everyone listening in on UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. In Noonan, Georgia, WQEE 99.1 FM. Down in Ridgecrest, California, KZFX 93.7 FM. In Reedsport, Oregon, we're on KDUN AM 1030 and KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas. Hi to everyone listening in on our digital supporters, Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Good to have you with us. Don't forget, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Kaka. That's K-A-K-A. Kaka. Apparently it's a bird. The Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where you can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, listen to the show live. The Gavinator, who's building our site, will have new features coming very, very soon. Actually, no, we got these guys for the full hour here because we skipped the news on SOR Roundtable nights. So we're going to continue on here with the SOR Paranormal Roundtable. Our guest tonight in studio, Bill Hauser, from our Ghost Box sessions that we do live on this show. He's a paranormal investigator out of Vancouver, British Columbia. We also have William Pullin, UFO researcher out of San Antonio, Texas, and Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio. Make sure if you ever get the opportunity to do so, go to his YouTube channel, GUFON Radio Stream, hit that subscribe button. We highly recommend it around here. Gentlemen, we're going to get into evidence now. Earlier this month, we had Mark D'Antonio on, who is the chief evidence gatherer and researcher for MUFON. Mark has delved into the paranormal. He's delved into Bigfoot. He's delved into other cryptids, UFOs, everything. Trying to figure out whether or not films are real, films are faked, CGI, whatever it may be. People running around in really bad costumes. William, we're going to start with you on this one as a former scientist and current UFO researcher. What makes good evidence?
Landing traces, radiation levels that are higher than background or ideal, Radar traces, although there's good UFO cases with no radar traces. That's kind of out the window now, because some of our modern technology is invisible to radar. I will accept firsthand testimony if it's gathered relatively soon after the event. That can be construed as hard evidence, as long as it's held up under scrutiny. There's no red flags around that. Burn marks to vegetation. Beyond that, it's difficult in today's environment because it's so easy to fake and hoax video images. It's easy to hoax a film. That's problematic. So it's a very finite set of things that can be considered evidence. Now, in and of themselves, it's almost impossible to gather that kind of. If you have a case with multiple chains of evidence, say 3 or 4 different chains, you have testimony, radar trace, landing traces, let's say a couple of photographs. Even with those kind of chains of evidence, it's virtually impossible to definitively say it was extraterrestrial. It allows you to eliminate certain possibilities and whittle down the possibilities. But it's very hard to get to one definitive possibility, one definitive explanation. But as far as UFO research, it's pretty much that. Radar traces, radiation, landing marks, burning traces, burn marks, I should say. Ideally, a physical piece of a craft would be ideal. Organic material, i.e. a body, would be ideal. But we don't have that available for the public to examine, to come to a consensus about. So we're stuck with other evidence that's not really directly leading us to extraterrestrial, but it's suggestive of it at times. That's kind of where we're at in today's scenario.
I understand that, but a lot of that stuff we cannot have right now. Unless you walk up on a crash site, you're not going to get that material, or that famous word, metamaterial. You're not going to be able to get that alien body. You're not going to be able to get that hair sample from Bigfoot, because he's crawling out of the craft trying to figure out what the hell's going on and why he's in a city subdivision rather than the forest. We're not going to get that. So if we break it down on a more basic level, and I agree with everything you said 100%, but on a basic level with what we have today, what is evidence? Do we rely on the videos that people shoot anymore, Rich? Do we rely on the eyewitness testimony that people come out and talk about their experiences anymore? Or are we well beyond that?
No, we have to take it up a step further now, because the video evidence can easily be fake. So, and I liked Antonio. I think he's phenomenal, one of the best. And that's rare for me to say about somebody who was with MUFON, but I love the guy, and I think he does a great job. So I think you need to have somebody who can also read if a person is a liar, like, somebody who knows a liar. You know what I mean? People who can tell if you're lying by just the way you're talking, the way you move, body language, facial expressions, all that stuff. And I think that is real important. I think you need to have that if you're going to get evidence from a witness, because I think witnesses are the worst when it comes to any evidence. If it's over an hour, then they start imagining and thinking, second guessing, and all these other things start getting involved in the thought process. So that evidence deteriorates rather quickly, which I agree with what Bill said, and and most everything. But I think we should step it up. I also like to get the weather reports for that day and see what was happening in the area, whether earthquakes, what kind of land are they on? Is there quartz underneath the house? I mean, what's creating these lights? What's creating that disc? Other than getting the actual disc and the alien itself, and the only way you're going to know is if you hold it yourself. That's evidence, is if you can hold it, analyze it, study it, examine it, cut it open, whatever it is you need to do. It's got to be something concrete. Words and pictures can be skewed and altered, so I like the hard stuff, the nuts and bolts. And, of course, I know a lot of you guys do. So without that, you got nothing. I think all the other stuff is great, but you need a lot of it to corroborate and make that a credible thing if you don't have the nuts and bolts. So hearing a story for me is got to be looked on with another set of eyes, somebody who can analyze the body language of someone. People will be nervous and whatnot. I get that. But somebody who's really good understands that in the situation they're in. Maybe even a lie detector test, a homemade one for that. I don't know. But something should be done that way. That's evidence.
Let's get Bill Hauser's opinion on this. Bill, what's your thoughts? Evidence. I mean, you collect evidence with your paranormal investigations in your ghost box. You're pretty astute at what you do. Do you believe your evidence is good enough? And I mean that with all due respect.
Well, I feel it's good enough, but I mean, yeah, people are going to look at what I do, and I know a lot of my work. I mean, people have put it into special software, audio engineering software, and analyzed it fairly thorough to see that I'm not faking it. And what they have found is a lot of low frequencies coming through that can't be explained, but they know that there are voices that are of a very low audio range coming through the radio during the time of my ghost box session. So, I mean, that's just one. I mean, when I go on investigations, yeah, I do EVP sessions and so on in the paranormal and follow a certain level of protocols so we don't have contamination and things of that nature. But I mean, nowadays, I mean, you see lots of photos and videos out there. You don't know if they're really real. And so, I mean, people can really, with a lot of great ingenuity and so on with this software that's available to the general public, creating great images and whatever else and faking it. So, again, you know, I mean, it depends on the source of the person, too. How credible are they when they present this stuff to the public?
Bill, I want to follow up with you on that, though, because I trust your work. Okay, you and I are friends. I've seen you work. I've seen what you do in action, both on the show and privately as well. And I know for you, you know what you're looking for. I trust your opinion. But there's a lot of hoaxers out there. There's a lot of people out there who are creating these for hits on YouTube, for hits on their website. You know some of them in the paranormal field. You've been very loud about some of those critiques. We've been loud on this show. Okay, especially in the UFO side, where there's a channel out there. I don't even like saying their name. They have 2.5 million followers. He was making up to 10, 12 grand a month off his YouTube hits up until YouTube changed their financing rules. Okay, and yet he was basing it all on clickbait and CGI. The mainstream public, especially those who are listening to us on terrestrial radio, they may not know what's real and what's fake. When they see somebody with 2 million followers on YouTube, or, you know, a radio show that has a lot of listeners, they have to decipher for themselves whether or not they're being tampered with, whether their own gullibility is being questioned. We all want to believe, that's why we listen to this, or we all have had that experience that brings us to this type of programming or these types of videos or television shows. How do we go about cleaning that up so that way people are getting that right information in order to help solve some of the mysteries to the questions they have?
Well, that's the tough part, being able to solve that. And, you know, I mean, this day and age, I mean, people still have freedom of what they want to post up on YouTube and whatever else. I mean, anybody can post anything on YouTube or whatever. The thing is it's the credibility of the person. I find that's the key aspect here. And also, when you're putting stuff up, you know, a lot of times, a lot of paranormal videos I've noticed on there are very heavily edited. I always find, I don't see a lot of raw footage. And so that's something I've always said about my YouTube channel and my videos. I always do it in the raw. So those are raw videos without any heavy editing or any of that nature.
William, what's your thoughts?
Going back to, Dave, some of the ideas you had, that makes it problematic to gain and to gather evidence. As far as the UFO field, a big issue is that most UFO investigations are investigated far after the fact, months or even years after this event transpired. Only occasionally does an event occur that's investigated, let's say, hours or days after the event. I can think of Socorro, New Mexico landing back in April '64, or the Stephenville, Texas sightings in 2008. Those are investigated within hours of the event. In fact, the things are still going on in Stephenville when MUFON was there investigating. So that's a little different. And another issue with UFO investigations is it's an unpredictable phenomenon. It's not like you can predict a solar eclipse or a meteor shower or what have you. It's not like an astronomical event. So you can't sit there and wait for a UFO to appear. There's no way to predict that. So another issue that compounds that is the shortage of UFO investigators, field investigators. I recall a few months ago, I happened to talk to a friend of mine that's a member of MUFON here in San Antonio. He told me there's 8 field investigators for MUFON for the entire state of Texas. That's a preposterously low number. It's impossible to cover all that ground. So I wonder how many quality sightings are falling through the woodwork, falling through the cracks, because there's not enough boots on the ground to investigate these things. So, we're, as far as UFOs, we're kind of behind the 8 ball in an effort to find evidence. It can be ascertained, it can be gathered, but it's extremely difficult. Some other paranormal phenomenon, the dynamics are not as difficult, or it's a different set of problems, depending on what you're looking at. So,
Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio. What's your thoughts on what William just said?
Well, I kind of echo the same thing. It is, it goes back. I mean, you got to start with the witness. I mean, I'm just going to go off a little bit, but Dave, it's just something that you have to also have faith in too, that they're not lying or making it up. And that goes back to the body language thing and all other things. It's just really hard. There's so many different variables that go into it, and it's never going to be good enough anyway to everybody else. Like if I saw one of you guys doing a UFO investigation and I didn't know you, I know nothing about you, and I looked at the way you were doing it, I would probably say I would have done it this way, or I would have done it differently. Why they doing this? So there's somebody out there who's always not going to agree with you in the way you do things. So getting the evidence, documenting it, filming yourself, getting the evidence, or have somebody, or have a little recorder handy, talking it through, what you're doing. Kind of like dissecting a frog or doing an autopsy. You're documenting every single thing you're doing. So you gotta have, you gotta have the video
evidence, though. What about the video evidence, though? Because I don't know of very many people out there, Rich, that actually trust any type of video evidence anymore. Whether it's the blob squatches in the forests that look like shadows of trees and leaves, but people are trying to say, oh, well, look at the circle here that I've drawn. There's a face there. Well, no, that's pareidolia. Or what about, something like Bill does with the ghost box sessions? I mean, there's a lot of heat that Bill has taken over years of doing this, and I think he would agree with me on that he's only trying to do what he feels is best. I trust the guy because I know him. I know him personally.
No, and that could be bad because you're biased. Now,
Absolutely.
what he's doing is something I quit doing because I didn't trust it. So you see, there's already 2 people here who do 2 different things. I would never use that. As a matter of fact, I don't even put batteries in mine anymore because I just can't trust what's coming in. You're getting FM and AM signals. I don't know how you weed out all the outside noise. You look at Ghost Adventures, they're having conversations. It's like soon as they're done, who are you? Martha, and it's like, how come I never get that? I get radio stations repeating, ads and songs and, Mexico, I get all sorts of weird things when I run mine. So that for me is something I just couldn't use. I say it's contaminated no matter where you are. Because you never know what's creeping in. Somebody could have a CB or ham radio and they just happen to chime into your box. I don't know, man. It's very difficult. The video evidence is the most difficult because people can easily fake that. We just went through that with, I think it was Colorado, with the thing that was supposedly going 12,000 miles an hour that just shows up out of nowhere. And then another one showed up a month later in Spain. And then another one showed up. Then I'm like, oh, my God, they're all doing the same thing. They're all turning real sharp. They're all going real fast. And, it was a hoax. There's a program out there, and it was a new program, and they were showing it off on their drone. So there's always, it seems like somebody's one step ahead of me. It's like I got to learn something new now. I got to learn a new program or a new way they're faking it. It's hard to keep up.
William, I want to ask you, as we got about 3 minutes before we go to break, what do you think has been the biggest effect on the field of ufology when it comes to CGI and a lot of these fake videos?
The ease in which someone can hoax something, that's extremely problematic. Because there's a shortage of field investigators. There's not many Mark D'Antonios walking around. Therefore, if there were only a few videos that came out every so often, like 4 or 5 a year, well, that wouldn't be a big issue. There's enough people to examine those videos and take their time to really break it down to determine what is there or what isn't there. But there are only a few videos out there on YouTube, on the internet. They're all over the place. And so there's no way to properly examine each and every one. Could there be a video out there that legitimately has captured an extraterrestrial craft? Of course there could be. Again, that might fall through the cracks. By the other side of the coin, because it's so easily hoaxed nowadays with our technology, with CGI and that kind of deal, are videos accepted as extraterrestrial craft that are actually hoax videos? Yes, I think that's prevalent too. But it's very hard to investigate all these videos because there's so many videos, there's so much out there. It's an overload of data. We're inundated with it. And there's a shortage of qualified individuals that can actually look at these things and determine what may be on the image and what may not be there. That's extremely troublesome. And that kind of goes back to our discussion about MUFON. If MUFON was able to, if the higher organization would support their local chapters and on some financial level, that would motivate more membership. And by definition, that means you would attract qualified individuals to join MUFON and perhaps become field investigators. So through that effort to support the local chapters, you would end up gathering the abilities, the specific disciplines of certain individuals that would assist you in vetting all this evidence. But that's not happening. They're just short of people all the time, whether directly because of their issues or not. So that's extremely troublesome in today's environment because any 12-year-old kid can sit behind their keyboard or their dad's computer and make them a fake video and load it onto YouTube, and there you go. You get the ball running. And like you said, there are websites that specialize in just mass amounts of videos, most of which are hoaxes. That's extremely troublesome, and that's not going to change anytime soon. Technology is taken over, so it's so easy to do it now. Before, it was a lot harder to hoax something. It was a lot more problematic to get a hoax going, say 40 years ago. And nowadays, it's a piece of cake. Easy. Right. Anybody can do it. Yeah, that's trouble. That's troublesome.
William, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. Rich, you stay tight. Bill, you're still looking good beside me, buddy. We got another half hour left of the Paranormal Round Table on the final Friday of the month. Stay tuned for more Spaced Out Radio.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio listeners, it's Dave Scott. I want you to check out a great documentary I'm involved in called Beyond the Spectrum, Mosson's UFO Files. Directed by Darcy Weir, the film follows Jaime Mosson's journey for mainstream journalistic truth in ufology in Mexico. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon Prime. If you're a member, watch it free. It's worth the watch. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rockin'. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch. Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today. Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. In the co-captain's chair, we got Bill Hauser, Vancouver, British Columbia, paranormal investigator. He's here for the SOR Paranormal Round Table, along with Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio and UFO researcher William Pullin. We'll get to them in a minute. Want to remind all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can also check them out on our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we soon will have a plethora of features for you. But until then, you can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and listen to the show live. Now, right before the break, we were talking about evidence. What is evidence? What is proof? Catherine in the chat room brings up a good point here, and I'm going to go with this because I think there's a different angle on it. And trust me, it is hot in the studio here. Bill needs a towel. It's so hot. See, we can't open the window, all right? Because if we open the window, my house doesn't have air conditioning where I broadcast from. But if we open the window, the mosquitoes are going to fly in. But it's cold out. It's cooler outside. I don't know what to do here.
Get a screen door.
I got to keep. I say that every night, and then it comes to the weekend when I have time, and I forget. Anyways, yeah, that's my life right now. That's my life. Anyways, getting back to Catherine's question in the chat room, she says, "Let's just ask this: why is there zero evidence of anything? Every piece of so-called evidence has never been used for proving anything. You'd think, Rich, with all of the proof that we have, the videos, the audio clips of people talking about this, whether they're whistleblowers, whether they're in the know, or whether they're experiencers. Are we just being naive that there is no evidence to lead us down the path of proof? Or are we still so far away from the real proof, the real evidence, that we won't even know if it hit us in the side of the face?
I've seen some videos that I could actually say I think that's real. But I'll never know for sure. See, that's the whole thing. How am I going to get a hold of the actual copy of it, and where it's uncompressed and I can read it in its raw form? It's very hard if it's from, another country too. Makes it that much harder. No, man, we're just as far away as we've been for the last 30, 40 years. And actually, it's gotten a lot worse because you don't know what's real and what's fake anymore because everything's done so well. You can break it down, but you need the original file most of the time. And without that, if it's fake, they're not going to give it up to you. Dave, it's a digital world. And it's very hard to find high 8. I believe you should record almost everything in high 8, even if you're ghost hunting. I like high 8. It's better than digital. Digital, you could easily fake stuff, easily, and not catch it. But anyway, what was your question?
Well, I would say the evidence is out there. We're just not paying attention properly. And if we go back to May of 2017, when Robert Bigelow was interviewed on 60 Minutes, and then out of the blue starts answering questions regarding UFOs. All right. Basically saying you don't need to leave the planet to see them. They're already here. UFOs and aliens are already here. That, to me, is evidence. The public and the media dropped the ball. John Podesta, February 13th, 2015, tweets out after stepping down from Barack Obama's council, tweets out, "My biggest regret of 2014 was not securing the hashtag disclosure of the UFO files, hashtag the truth is still out there." Those are two very, very powerful men who made very, very powerful statements, which I would say is evidence that there is something going on. But it all comes down to, what kind of evidence do we want? Do we want that UFO on the White House lawn? Do we want that dead Bigfoot body? How do you prove life after death? Is it possible? I understand where she's going with this, but I think there has been proof out there, William, that some very, very big people in the know have come out and stated, ladies and gentlemen of this planet, this is real, and nobody paid attention, William.
See, and I don't accept those statements as evidence. They're statements of belief. They are from powerful individuals that may be in the know. They've stated what they believe. But as far as UFOs, the best we can do with cases is eliminate possibilities, and at best, the evidence we gather is suggestive strongly of the extraterrestrial. But without organic material and without a physical piece of the craft we could all examine and come to a consensus about, we can't prove it. We can't. We are stuck with the evidence we have, and the individuals that have been in the know for a while that have made statements that, yes, are powerful, and yes, they have a perspective that you or I may not have, but they're still statements of belief. And I don't accept that as evidence. They are very powerful. But, I mean, Bigelow said, well, UFOs are already here. Well, yeah, UFOs have been seen for decades. That doesn't make them extraterrestrial craft. But unidentified flying objects they're seen all the time. He also said aliens are here. Well, that's a statement of belief. He needs to prove that statement. He needs to back it up with actual,
He needs to back it up, but the journalist if you watch her reaction, she was so caught off guard by that statement, she didn't know what to ask in a follow-up question.
That's
and
true,
the thing is,
she did.
Bigelow is so private that when she didn't ask it, he moved on. The other thing we also have to probably figure out there is, because he has, high security clearance, we don't know how much of that interview was edited. We don't. The snippets that they gave us, I do believe, I will disagree with you 100%. I do believe it's evidence. What we'd really like to see, and what I would love to see with 60 Minutes, is I would love to see them come in and release that entire video unedited. I bet the stuff that is on there would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I think it would be almost scary what would be released, Will.
And that may be true. It may be true. But I could be, say, a 4-star general, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and if I say there are green cows on the moon, that doesn't make it reality either. So it's very troublesome. You're right. If that interview was broken up, and I think you might be right, there would be a lot of groundbreaking and thought-provoking statements made by him, but they're still statements, and that's not evidence.
Well, let's bring in Bill Hauser here.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Bill Hauser here for a second, because when it comes to the paranormal, Bill, when we talk evidence, okay, yes, we have photographs. Yes, we have video evidence, EVPs. There's a lot of things that we do have that are unexplainable. We don't know how those EVPs are happening. We don't know how this video footage of this spirit walking through a wall appears and then disappears. We don't know if there is life after death. And this is where I got a big problem with a lot of people in the paranormal, not turning this into a complaint fest here. But when it comes to the paranormal, because there is no regulations, there is no guidelines, there is no rule book, we don't even have a clue. And 99% of the paranormal teams out there don't even have a clue of what they're trying to solve, let alone what they are looking for, Bill.
Yeah, well, you make some great points there, Dave. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's really, as far as I'm concerned, the proof of ghosts isn't there yet. But what we have is a lot of circumstantial evidence of strange, if you want to call it high strangeness, that's great. But I mean, at the same time, we can't explain fully what's exactly happening for each of the evidence that's come through. I mean, I can't explain why things come through my ghost box, but it doesn't come through Dave's ghost box. Intelligible responses, for example. But it does. So the thing is it comes down to a lot of factors at play here. And as far as I'm concerned, right now, out there, it is the Wild West, especially in the ghost hunting community. People are putting lots of stuff out there. Some of it is, as far as I'm concerned, is really questionable. But I mean, at the same time, I've seen some pretty amazing stuff that are from very credible people. So, you have to look at, I go back to the people putting it out there. I mean, a lot of times that's really where I feel is the key factor there.
Rich, what's your thoughts on what Bill has to say?
Well, as far as Dave having a ghost box and you catch something and he doesn't, doesn't take that much to block a signal coming from the outside. But I don't know. I wasn't there. So that's interesting to me. See, and I would like to know about that. And it's hard because I can't be there. A lot of things can easily be, misidentified, or because you're in the moment, you're going to believe it more than you wouldn't if you were another set of eyes. I don't know, man. I don't, you guys have said it all. I mean, there really isn't much more I can say. I've been trying to think of other things to say, but it's all been said. We're just.
Joe here in the chat room says, no one is talking about the UFOs. Everyone is discussing the investigations and the organizations. Do we have to break it down even further, Rich?
What does he mean by that? We talked about the UFOs.
No, I think it's a generalized question, not us on the round table here. It's a generalized question that nobody is talking about the real evidence that is out there. Everybody wants to talk about what could be coming next, what these groups are doing. We're so focused on the politics of it rather than the evidential side.
I'm having a hard time finding the evidence. So I don't know, man. I see a bunch of stuff that's being posted on websites and on YouTube, and it's all explainable to me in one way or another. And some of the things just downright fake looking. I don't know where you want me to go with that. I just don't have an answer. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe somebody else does. I don't know.
Will, let's get your opinion.
No, I get what he's getting at. So the issue is that this drama, this scenario, all this political situation between TTSA, MUFON, and the way it's kind of polarized, it's fractured the UFO community. All that energy and time has taken away from actually investigating the phenomenon. We're so busy arguing with each other and talking about things that aren't really having to do specifically about what's being seen in the skies. It's taken time away from that. It's taken effort away from that. We're already behind the eight ball. We're already short of investigators. We always have trouble investigating the phenomenon itself because of the shortage of manpower or woman power, whatever the case may be. And now, with a lot of people too busy arguing amongst themselves and discussing the political situations between these groups, that's energy that could be focused on actual investigations of the phenomenon, but isn't being spent there. Maybe I think that's what the question was concerned about.
It hasn't changed in the 16 years I've been around. It's always the same people thinking they know everything and never ever once experienced anything or explored or investigated anything. They're just talking. And you're right. It takes away from doing the work, but these people don't want to do it. There's so much. There's just so little of us out there. You're right. And I've been saying that forever. There's hardly anybody doing this anymore. It's gotten worse. I don't know.
Well, there's certainly there's a percentage of people, at least in the UFO field, that embrace everything because they want to sell their books, because they want to keep the invitations coming to all the conferences, that sort of thing.
True. As
opposed to, I'm going to investigate UFOs, and if my conclusions don't agree with someone else's belief system, so be it. But I objectively look to the data. That level of integrity and professionalism is kind of a little bit gone by the wayside nowadays because people are so enamored with, well, I'm over here taking a selfie with this researcher. I'm over here at Roswell. I'm over here at McMinnville. I'm over here at the UFO Congress in Arizona or what have you. And they're more worried about going to the conferences and getting their voice heard. And it's become more about that and less about the actual work. And that's extremely troubling. But that's happening a lot nowadays.
Yeah, you're right. I haven't thought about it until now.
Okay, let me ask you guys this, though. Whether it's the ghost hunting shows or the paranormal or Bigfoot or UFOs, is it because we're seeing a big change in the way everything is investigated, and therefore we're starting to see people shift and pick on others and pick apart other groups because they are trying to remain relevant with what's popular?
That's going on. That's definitely going on. Yeah, they attack each other. There's never been a set as far. I'm just talking UFOs. That's my specialty. There's never been a set criteria as to actually how to conduct a UFO investigation. There never has been. So there's all the sorts of different ideas about how to conduct one by all of these different groups, and they all spend time attacking each other's data or belittling each other. Usually what happens is, at least in the UFO field, and it happens a lot in paranormal field too, they attack the messenger as opposed to actually attacking the data. Scientists are supposed to discuss the data, and they may disagree about their conclusions, but they're discussing the data. But too often in the UFO field, it becomes character assassination. They attack each other on a personal level, where you didn't conduct yourself this way, or you did this the wrong way, or whatever, instead of just discuss the data and just look at that. That doesn't happen often enough. That's very troubling. And It happens in the UFO field. I can't speak for the other paranormal fields, but that's definitely rampant in UFOs.
We only got about 2.5 minutes here tonight, gentlemen, left in this show, and this has been high quality of a show here tonight. I think we hit some major material here, and, you know, I think you guys as a panel, Bill Hauser, William Pullin, Rich Giordano, outdid yourselves tonight. I really do believe that, guys.
Thank you.
It's the go team.
Can I say one thing?
Of course you can, Richard.
I only need 2 minutes. No, I don't. Just kidding.
You got 90 seconds.
I got in a discussion with one of these people who, you know, really doesn't believe anything. And I'm like, well, look, you know, there is evidence that this stuff does exist. And then I'm like, you know what? I kind of do believe you, because in a way there really isn't. Nobody knows for sure. Like, I hear people, TTSA, you know, they're going to usher in disclosure, and, you know, this is going to be the beginning of the end. I'm like, how do you know? How do you know? Because they said it? Are they talking to aliens? Where's the alien? I want to hear that conversation. Did the aliens tell them that? Nobody knows anything. I don't know anything. You don't know. We're only going by the data, which is great, but we still don't know anything of what the intentions are, if there are aliens out there, and what their intentions are. Buzzing by at the Tic Tac, buzzing by, you know, forever or whatever, doesn't mean it's a hostile intent. Could mean he's showing how fast he goes. You know, we don't know. Nobody knows. Automatically, we think it's a negative. You know, they're coming to destroy us because we can't take care of ourselves. They're just going to wipe us out anyway and start over. Maybe, but there's no evidence. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Big discussion about that.
That is a very, very good final word. And I think the final word from the audience comes from Joe in Joe's Maine. You never know who's speaking, his hair or his beard or Joe himself.
Good man.
But we'll end it with this. The UFO community is its own worst enemy. That's a great place to end the week.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. Bill Hauser, paranormal investigator, thank you so much for coming in. I look forward to ghost hunting with you tomorrow night.
Yes, that'll be great. I'm looking forward to it, too.
Appreciate that. Rich Giordano from GUFON Radio Stream. Everybody needs to get out there. If you like YouTube, go hit that subscribe button on GUFON Radio Stream's channel. Well worth the entertainment. And William Pullin, UFO Researcher, can be found on Facebook. Thank you so much for a great roundtable. We will do it all again on Friday night, August 30th. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother Is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, in our chat rooms on Facebook, the SOR Space Travelers Club, Revolution Radio, and on Spreaker. Can't forget the snarkers on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Wherever you may be, remember this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. We're watching. Thank you so much for sharing your week with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night.